Well, today we've got a set of CK shears, or wire stripper shears, cutters, whatever you want to call them. And we've also got a comparable set of Knipex, which are smaller than these. As far as I know, the Knipex are 165mm. These are the 210mm version, so 8¼ inches. These are more sort of European style cutter or shear. The Americans tend to just use side cutters for cutting wire. So, you know, a pair of side cutters or a pair of lineman pliers, they call them over there, big brutes of pliers. So, from the research I've done on these are produced in Japan for CK. I'm not too sure. I don't think they're made by CK. The Knipex ones, funny enough, are also produced in Japan. They are not Germany. Japan makes some very, very high quality tools. They're not, you know, Chinese shit. They are extreme good quality tools. My engineer wire strippers are produced in Japan. So yeah, the research I done led me to believe that these are produced in Japan for CK. CK being a German company as far as I'm aware. So this is the cable cutter designed for professionals. So the majority of Sparks in the UK actually use this set of cutters. So we'll get them open and we'll take a wee run over the specs and see what we have. Well, actually, we'll look at the spec of them first, and then we will look at the spec of the Knipex. So 11mm max diameter, which is what, about, I don't know what that would be, maybe could be 25mm. It'd be more than 25mm squared cable, so they're capable, more than capable of for what I need them for anyway. So there was for aluminium, copper and plastic sheath cables up to 11mm diameter. 2 cutting positions, drop forged carbon steel, induction hardened cutting edges. Do not use for cutting hard wire, as this will damage the cutting edges. So it's guaranteed craftsmanship. I got these in Screwfix, by the way. I think they're about £19.50, £19.59 maybe. You can't get them on Amazon, I think, for a pound cheaper, but so what. So this is my first set of CK tools, by the way. So they are, first I noticed out of the packet, they are stiff. I also think Klein make a set like these as well. Klein being, I don't actually know if the Klein ones are produced in America or not. It doesn't actually state on the packaging, but the Klein are about £30, and to me they look identical to these CK ones. So yeah, a little bit stiff out of the packaging. In comparison, these Knipex were basically like this out of the packaging. These are very, very easy to use, but we'll compare these to the other set of Knipex I have. But yeah, like I was saying, I think the Knipex that I have got that I bought as well, the smaller version, are made in the same factory. I think I have a feeling, but we'll compare them here and we'll take a wee look. So these are the CK T3963. I don't know if you can see that. T3963, and you can see you have a shear sort of style blade. So it's not a side cutter, where a side cutter basically just, you know, squeezes whatever material it is together and bursts through it. These are more like a shear in action, so more like a pair of scissors. And you can see the reason I bought these is because I can put round cable in here, flex cable, and strip around it to remove the outer insulation. And then down at this portion here, you have a small part for stripping cores of wires. So we'll take a wee look and see how they perform, and we'll get the Knipex set opened up here as well and see how they perform. Do some wire cut tests and see what the outcome is. Excuse my hands, I was refilling the printer cartridge and it's black ink and it will not come off no matter how much I scrub them. But yeah, so this is the Knipex version of these CK croppers, shears, whatever you want to call them. I actually got the Knipex version in a couple of days after the CKs arrived, and I have had time now. I've had these for about a week and a half, and I've had these for about a week. So I made the first part of this video and then I waited a while, you know, so this is a continuation from it. So I have had time to use both of them and see what I like best. These have freed up a wee bit since I've got them with a bit of use, and I put a wee bit of penetrating oil around the rivet. The Knipex came and they were free whenever they arrived, but they have freed up a good bit more. I like pliers that are free. You know, it's just one last thing you have to struggle with. But these are the Knipex 195-11165A. They do actually seem quite hard to find. Amazon, I picked these up off eBay, again from Prime Tools. Amazon didn't have this model in stock. They only had the sort of the big shear version, you know, the one without that sort of miniature cutting edge on it, or the miniature stripping edge. And this was the model I wanted because I like being able to strip wire and use just one tool instead of having to use wire stripper whenever I can. So yeah, the Knipex 9511165A. Apparently these are capable of cutting 12mm wire. CKs are stated at 11mm. So going by the book, these here can cut 1mm thicker diameter wire. The Knipex can cut 1mm thicker diameter than the CKs. These can cut 12mm wire, so 35mm squared. So I was using these the other day for putting in, I was putting in another MCB into a consumer unit at home here. So for the consumer unit I couldn't get a new bus bar. It was only a small consumer unit for a shower, you know, and it was a two-way populated one with an RCD and an MCB. So I had to link the MCB, the 40 amp MCB to a 6 amp MCB. Just I wanted to run everything into the house and I wanted to protect it by an MCB instead of having to link into another circuit. So I used these actually to cut the 10mm squared wire and cut through it like a breeze. So these, as far as I'm aware, they are not made in Germany, even though they're made by Knipex. They're actually made in Japan. The CKs are also made in Japan. I don't know whether they come from the same factory or not. I suppose it's hard to tell. I would nearly need the comparable Knipex model in the 205mm to see, but CKs have this sort of rubberized grip on it. It feels a wee bit sticky, you know, very, very grippy. The Knipex have the more textured sort of grip, similar to that would be under Cobras. It's not the more vinyl sort of grip, it's the textured. I like this grip better. But we'll take a wee look at their capabilities and sort of compare them. So 205mm, 165mm, and we'll compare these to the cutting abilities of similar sort of side cutters. So they're the 200mm high leverage, and these are the 160mm, just normal, not high leverage. Diagonal cutters, side cutters, whatever you want to call them. So first we will get a bit of 10mm squared wire. This is the wire I was using in the consumer unit. It's double insulated. So firstly we'll try it with the 160mm side cutters. I don't want to use too much of this wire, it's fucking expensive. But so that quite hard to cut through. You can see the shape it leaves the conductor in, sort of a cross for a crushed shape. Let's see with the bigger ones. Yeah, pretty easy, but you know. Now let's take a wee look at these again. A sort of crushed sort of shape. Focus. Now we'll take a wee look at the Knipex. Like butter. That one clean through it like butter, and you can see a nice, clear, clean cut. And now we'll do it with the CKs. And they were by far the easiest of them all. Obviously there's more levers, they're bigger, but again a nice clean cut. So firstly what you can notice is obviously these are far superior at cutting wire than press side cutters. So this is why I've started using these now, not side cutters. So we'll get those out of the way. We'll take a wee look at the next feature I like on them. So let's take a look again at this 10mm squared wire. Okay, so how you would strip it with these Knipex. Bloody dog hairs. The way I stripped it was put this on and just round it slightly and pop. That's it off. Then, you know, these are sharp as a bloody razor. Round it and pop. That's off. Again, the CKs, exact same principle. Round it, pop, round it, pop. The CKs are a wee bit bigger. Personally, my personal favourite is these, just for, you know, if you're only going to buy one of these and you very, very rarely work with wire this size, I would buy the Knipex. If you're always working with wire this size, buy the bigger version, the CKs, the 205 or 210mm, whatever size it is. Buy these. The only downside of the CKs is they are a wee bit harder to get wide open, you know, unless you have hands like a fucking gorilla, you know, to be able to stretch way out. You sort of have to put your hands right up to the top. So, for example, take a look at this. This is 25mm squared meter tail. So as you can see, I'm having to actually up my hands out quite a bit to get that on. I'm sort of holding the tool more up around the top and strip. Oh, not right through it. And strip. The Knipex version is just a wee bit more manageable. You know, it's just a wee bit smaller, a wee bit more manageable. It's definitely capable of cutting through this 25mm squared cable, as I'll show you in a wee minute. So you can strip, not too far enough, and strip. And the Knipex, we'll just go through, so you can see it's sort of on its limit, but it will cut it. Jesus, now this is definitely a wee bit. Okay, so I might have to use two hands here to cut this. Cut it no problem though. I'm still able to cut it with two hands. Whereas with the CK, I can get my grip, close it in a wee bit, and one-handed CK. I'm sure I could do it one-handed with the Knipex too, but it's just a wee bit of a bollocks. Oh fuck. Oh, just about. So with the Knipex, it's a wee bit harder. So again, if you're working with meter tails all the time, definitely go with the bigger version of CKs. I know Engineer make these. Is it the PK51 for the 200mm version and the PK50 for the 165mm version? I would be quite interested in bringing those in to see what they're like. But again, to repeat, these are far superior than side cutters. Let's just take an example. Trying to cut this, we'll cut it off this end. I'll just cut this bit here. So trying to cut this with side cutters, okay, that's a 25mm squared. Fuck me. I'm actually not exaggerating here, this is damn hard to cut. Pushing on the bench. Fucking bastard. See, I actually literally cannot. Fucking hell. That is hard to cut with that. You know, so if you're cutting meter tails all day, you don't want to be using these. You want to be using the proper tool for the job. But just for sort of domestic wiring, if you're only wiring about the house, fiddling about, putting in a plug or something like that, you know, wiring with like a 2.5 twin earth, 1.5 twin earth, Knipex will win. I'll get a bit and I'll show you how easy it is to strip wire with them. 2.5mm twin earth here. Again, this is our 25mm meter tail here, and this is flipping 2.5mm twin earth. So you can see the difference. Bastard, focus. You can see the difference. One strand in this is thicker than one strand in this. But your typical way for stripping wire, the typical way I would strip wire anyway, nip down in the middle. Yes, you do damage it a wee bit. Sometimes just nip that off though if it is. Grab the CPC and use it like a cheap, like a sort of a cheese wire. Pull it down Grab this. There's another neat feature on these Knipex, by the way, and on the CKs I want to show you. But so yeah, if you can see on the Knipex and the CKs, there's that wee hole here. So that bloody dog hairs. That makes stripping very, very easy. You see that? The CKs are exactly the same. You know, they go through that like friggin' a hot knife through butter. So for speed, it's far quicker using the like of these instead of having to go and get another pair of wire strippers. If you're working, this is a real annoyance of mine, working with rounded cable. Like I've already showed you. So say you're working with the like of this, this was just like an extension lead cable. And you could use a tool like the Yukari has some sort of stripping tool. Actually, I'm going to bring it in to try and showcase it, but I think this is old wire, old cutting off an extension lead or something. But say you're trying to strip this, okay, so what you could actually do, I haven't actually tried this feature, but you can turn these inside out. The same with the CKs. So let's see, we'll try this live on camera here. But normally the way I would strip these, we'll do it the normal way first. Normally just cut in, grind, break it off. I'm just going to buck up on my own camera here. Yes, it is. I haven't stripped it the whole way around. And then wipe that off like that. Now, for stranded cable, I don't like stripping it as much with the end because you can nick it sometimes. But if you're careful, it does just as good a job. I haven't actually nicked anything there so far. It actually does just as good a job as normal wire strippers, you know, the wee hole ones. But let's say we're going to try and use the tool, open it up, so I'll go around. Probably haven't went through it enough. I have. And then we'll see what the idea behind this is. So as far as I know, that's what we're going down in and dragging along. I don't know how well it's going to work in theory. Oh, you bastard. Jesus. Fucking wire into the thumb. So no, that's, oh well, it has actually cut through here. Just tear it off like that. So if you needed to do a really long run, I suppose that would be a good job, but to be honest, it's more of a prick of a thing than anything else. It's easier just friggin' stripping it and putting it in. Again, unless you're a real long run, but the CKs do that too. Inside out. I presume that's what that's for, but again, these are through wire, a hot knife through butter. Again, the CKs are just a wee bit less manageable. They're just that wee bit bigger. The only downside is you do need to be careful. Fucking hell, fuck that up. The only downside is you do need to be a wee bit careful whenever you're stripping wire like this, because it is quite easy to break through and hit the conductor. But if you're careful, it can be done. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.